Hey everyone, I'm Ryan. You're watching 60 Cycle Hum, and if you're like some people that watch this channel regularly, you might remember this guitar, the Zuwei, however it's pronounced. I'm famously loose with my mispronunciations. But anyways, if you remember this guitar, you remember it had a host of issues. A lot of issues that I've never seen before in any guitar that I've ever received or encountered in a store. Notably, the nut is floating in a slot that is too big for it, and there's a big gap on the bottom side of the nut, which I showed in a photo in the initial video. And then later, after that video, I realized there's a gap above the nut as well. So that nut is just floating in a slot that's way too big for it, and it's jammed in there kind of diagonally. I had issues with tuning stability, which, you know, that's not new. I've had those issues with guitars in the past. I've tried a few things to dial that out, and you know, I think it plays decently enough in tune now that if you're not, you know, riding the wiggle stick, then everything's going to be somewhat normal. I applied some lube to the nut slots. I use this little syringe of lube that comes from the D'Addario maintenance kit that I like to use, and that helped. I also released the strings from the string trees because recently I figured out that releasing the strings from string trees on my Supersonic remedied all the tuning stability issues I had with that guitar, and this has a reverse headstock as well, so I figured why not. And you might remember that out of the box it came with its bridge floating. It's not unusual, it's certainly not unheard of for a Strat style bridge to be in a floating position, and if a guitar is dialed in right, it can be very effective and it can be very tuning stable. But because I was having issues with this guitar, I decided to crank down the springs in the back and really clamp it down to the body. It is still usable as a trim, not for light fluttery stuff, but I could dive it if I want to, but I figured that would help. And at this point, yeah, I could play it. It stays in tune well enough to play it. It's not remarkable or anything like that, but it's a lot closer to functional. Also, the strings have had time to stretch and break in and whatnot. But there's one issue that I haven't been able to figure out, and I'm a bit perplexed by it. And in this video, I'm going to try one more thing to try to fix it. I've got this really wild sitar-like buzzing sympathetic sound on the low E. Let me get a mic on that so you can hear it. You hear that? I'm going to use a pick. A really weird thing about this, I've never encountered this before. I can't zero in physically where that buzz is happening. It seems to happen all the way up and down the neck. Isn't that weird? It doesn't happen on the low A, the D, the G, the B, or the E. And to add to the weirdness, I can actually tune it out by tuning the guitar. Hopefully this works. Hopefully the mic picks this up. Otherwise, this video is going to be weird. All right, so I've got my Strobo Stomp here. It's right around E right now. I'm going to down tune it. Still got a buzz at D sharp. Ooh, right about there. It's starting to disappear. Right around D, it starts to disappear. Completely gone at C sharp. Let's go up now. Still buzzing at F. Oh no, it's starting to disappear. Getting close to F sharp, it disappears again. That's weird, right? I can hear a little bit of a buzz. but for the most part, that sounds normal. Take it back to E. And it does this no matter where I fret it, if it's tuned to E, or within that range where it's still buzzing. I'm still getting a buzz. It's not as dramatic as when it's open, but there's still like a sitar buzz there. It just keeps going. I don't understand it. It's not coming from any one fret. At first I thought like, oh, a fret is high and it's buzzing on the fret. But I've used my fret rocker thing. I've only been able to find 2 spots that have a little bit of a rock. The frets are actually pretty level on this guitar, believe it or not. There's a little bit of a rock on the 13th fret, and there's a tiny little bit of a rock on the 8th or 9th. Yeah, a tiny little bit of rock there. Barely anything. Not enough to be causing this, especially considering I can fret past that and it's still buzzing. I was able to get rid of the buzzing by raising the action on that string to a ridiculous level. Like ridiculous, like a joke level, like beyond slide. And I'm like, it's gone, but it's pushed the guitar into unplayable in a different direction. A few things to address before I move on from that. There are things on a guitar that could rattle, and I want to isolate those and show that it's not that. This pickup cover right here is loose and does rattle. But I think that if that was the issue, then by holding it, it would go away, but it hasn't. Is it the nut slot? I don't think so, because when I fret, it's still doing this weird buzz. Is it the string trees because I took the strings off the string trees? Well, no, because it had the buzz before I took the strings off the string trees. But I can sit here and hold them with my fingers, and that should kill the rattle if they're rattling. Nope, no difference. I don't even feel them physically rattling in any way. I really don't think it's the nut at all. Because I'm not feeling the rattle when I touch it, but I hear it so loud. And it does seem to be coming from the entire neck region. It's not coming from the guitar itself. It's so weird. And let's do a point of comparison to another guitar in a similar price point. Here is the current champion of the Strat series that I need to continue. I need to get one more Strat and continue that series. But here's the Xavier. There's a low E, no buzz. And I actually spent the time to mirror the setup that's on this guitar onto this guitar. I used the little ruler I have here to make sure that the action of the E string was identical across the neck. At the 12th, at the 5th, and at the 1st fret, I made measurements. And I made them pretty much identical in setup. And this one doesn't buzz at all, but the Zuwei buzzes for some reason. This one sounds like it needs to be tuned. That's besides the point. So what I want to try doing is replacing the strings. Maybe there's something going on with these strings in particular. Maybe like there's loose winds on it or something. Like visually it looks like it should be fine. But if I change the strings and that's still happening, then I honestly have no idea anymore. And another thing I want to point out, an issue I found with this guitar that I've never seen before. This is a new detail. Some people might have noticed it in the initial video, but I didn't notice it. This back route is super duper crooked. I have never seen this before. It's like, here's the route for the plate, but look at how the route is sitting within that. It is completely crooked, and a significant portion of the bridge is actually floating underneath the route in here. I've never seen that. Like if this was straight, then this would be closer to flush up there and you would see the other edge of the trim block poking out there a little bit more. It's wild. I had to throw an extra spring on here as well to get that bridge cranked down. So yeah, I'm going to try changing the strings on this. If that doesn't fix it, then I don't know what to do at that point. Maybe someone out there can give me some sort of expert advice. But here we go. Let's change the strings. Let's invest some money into this guitar, which is not what I wanted to do. You know, let's just do one string. Let's just do the low E and see what happens. I mean, I'll still change all the strings. But at that point, we should be able to figure out if it is the string, if it's just the low E string that is problematic. This is the same gauge of string I put on everything, the D'Addario XT 11s through 49s. It's my preferred gauge. At least it has been for a while now. I change gauges every few years or so as my tastes change, but I've been really happy with these for a while now. If this fixes it, I'm going to be a little bit pissed off because I've spent probably 3 or 4 hours on this guitar trying to figure out this issue. And I didn't want to throw, more money at it. I didn't want to throw strings at it. I'm not hearing the buzzing. Was that it? Was it the string? Why? What is it about this string that was buzzing? And why was it buzzing across its entire length like that? I swear I've never encountered that issue. And in 25 years of playing guitars. Now in comparison, I'm hearing a buzz on that low A. All right, I'm gonna change the rest of the strings, I guess. Maybe it doesn't like that gauge or something? How weird. Weirdly, that buzz is in the A string now. What the hell's going on here? It's not the same as the buzz was on the low E. I mean, probably because it's at a different pitch, but it's there. Yeah. The strings are changing it, probably because of a tension change, but they're not fixing it. I'm still getting a little bit on the edge of that E. And a lot on the A now, when there wasn't a lot on the A before. I've never been so frustrated by a guitar in all my life. And that's saying a lot. Oh, great, it's stuck. Oh, that's the worst. When I get a stuck string in a strap bridge like that, I use a little Allen key to push it through. Most of the time that works. Does anyone else think that reverse headstocks are kind of a pain in the ass to string up? The 6-in-line headstock with top tuners is like a perfect creation. Why are we dicking with that? Another stuck one. A few people over the years have accused me of never stretching my strings because they just don't see me do it on camera. But I do stretch my strings when I put new strings on a guitar. My uncle showed me how to do this, the way he does it anyways. Maybe there's a better way to do it. What is that and why? The saddles are resting squarely on their tuners. I mean, I've encountered before saddles that are rocking on their screws. I just tightened one just to be sure, and yeah, it's solid. Now I'd say it's like it's almost worse now, because I'm getting that pronounced sitar sound on all three of the low strings. I honestly couldn't tell you if the pickups in this guitar sound good or bad because this issue has been so distracting to me. Like if I picked this guitar up off the shelf in a store before even plugging it in, if I heard that, I'd be like, no, I'm not gonna play this. It sounds better unfretted now. It's not doing the big buzzing it was before. But I'm getting that buzzing on the A string now. And the D string. And there's a sitar little sting on the edges of the G string. The B and the E are fine. Thank goodness. It's got to be something related to the tension, because I can tell that this is a heavier gauge. So it's pushed that tension issue further onto the A and the D string. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not a guitar tech. I'm not a luthier. I'm not a professional. Not a professional. But if you're a professional guitar tech and you think you know what's going on here, feel free to write a couple paragraphs in the comment section and let me know. Because at this point I have no idea what's going on. Let's try taking the wiggle stick all the way out. Which I did wrap with Teflon tape. Nope, it's still there. I'm holding the springs in the back. It's not changing anything. The sound is really coming from the entire neck area. I honestly, is it possible for that sound to be coming from the truss rod? If the truss rod, I don't know anything about this stuff, guys. I don't build guitars. I just dick around with them. Is it possible for the truss rod to be in there loose enough that it's buzzing against the wall of the neck, and there's some sort of sympathetic vibration thing going on, some sort of deep physics thing happening where at certain frequencies it's causing the truss itself to buzz. Because physically on the outside of the neck, I can't isolate anything that would cause that. I'm legitimately perplexed. It's so bizarre. All right, thanks for watching. If you have any suggestions, I'm looking forward to reading them. I'm a little bit peeved in this moment that I did commit a new set of strings to this. And now I won't have that set of strings for a guitar that I actually like. Oh, man. I will say that, you know, like in the last video, there's a lot of comments from people who have received these guitars and didn't have these issues. Obviously, like, you know, I don't think that factory would exist if every single guitar that they shipped out was like this. But the fact that they did ship a guitar that is like this is, it says a few things. It says a few things. So anyways, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, dislike, leave me rude and nasty comments. Support us on Patreon. Buy a shirt if you're naked, and stay grounded. Bye, everybody.